school announced that we have 4 finalists for president who will be here over the next 48 hours. So those folks will be on campus.
Your mic is not working.
It's not working? Okay. You know what? I'm going to have to ditch the mic. It's not working. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here today. I'm sorry I'm going to have to kind of yell at you. The mic's not quite on. Hey, thank you for being here today, our Hardrocker Coaches Luncheon. We appreciate it. Happy Halloween. Hope you're having fun today. Please be safe tonight. Okay, thank you to Matt Benny and the Bufalo Wild Wings for hosting us. They're a wonderful corporate sponsor with us, and we really appreciate their support in a big way. Is it working yet? No, it's not. Okay. We'll just go with that. Hey, we have a lot of things going on campus this week. If you did not see in the paper yesterday, we have 4 finalists for our president position who are here over the next 48 hours. So a few people from athletics will be running around and involved with that. You may see some information coming out of that, but also we should be naming a new president certainly within the next week and a half or so. So we're looking forward to that. What do we have coming ahead this week? We've got a lot of things going on this week with the Hardrockers. We've got men's and women's basketball starting play this week. Men's basketball plays on Thursday at South Dakota State at 7:15 p.m. You may have seen in the paper that that was a special waiver granted to us by the NCAA. Women's basketball starts Friday at Montana State Bozeman at 6 o'clock p.m. Men's soccer wraps up their season this weekend on Saturday at Montana State Billings at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And cross country will be traveling this weekend down to Texas, to Canton, Texas, for the NCAA South Central region. So we wish them luck as they go out that way. We've got some home events this weekend. Volleyball plays this Friday night at home against Chadron State at 6 o'clock. And Saturday night, volleyball plays at home against Regis. It's senior night. 6 o'clock p.m. Saturday, senior night for volleyball. So we really hope you all can come out and give our seniors a warm send-off. Football has a home game this Saturday, 1 o'clock p.m. against Colorado Mesa. The weather's looking really good for this weekend. The last time I checked it, 65 degrees. Ought to be a great day to get out to the football game, follow that up with volleyball that night, get out to some Hardrocker events this weekend. You guys, thank you for being here. We're going to kick these off with men's soccer. Andrew Conniff.
Thank you for being here. Hopefully you can all hear me. If not, just toss a hand up or something to get my attention. On Friday we played Fort Lewis. We lost 3-1. They've been really, really good this year. Kind of a theme throughout the season that you probably heard me talk about is we make our own mistakes, and we definitely did that on Friday. We had a great individual goal from Justin Barkov, but ultimately there was the first goal that Fort Lewis scored is one that we talked about in film when they have vertical passes, which is a forward pass that splits our midfield. They're dangerous, and they did that in the first few minutes, and they got a goal. Definitely disappointing to start the game off that way. We did tie it 1-1, and they really just showed that their quality. They finished 3rd in the RMAC this year, and they have a ton of young kids. Something that's kind of fun for me now that I'm in my 3rd year here, recruiting Colorado all the time. Watching Fort Lewis, they have 3 freshmen that I watched for the last 2 years, and seeing them now in college, I'd like to think I could stop them better than letting them score 3 goals, but it is fun to see that progress and seeing guys develop, even if they're not Hardrockers, which hopefully they will be more and more moving forward. Then on Sunday, we had our senior game. We played Adams State, who's had probably their best season in program history, and we came out and competed really, really well. This year, another theme is that we haven't always matched the physicality and the pace of RMAC play. And RMAC soccer versus some of the other conferences like the GNAC in Oregon and Washington, it's very, very physical here. Every player's big, or they're fast, or they're mean. Right? Other conferences, they have a lot of technical ability. They have a good reading of the game. They have good vision. That's not how the RMAC is for soccer. And Adams State definitely embodies that. Oh, they're much nicer. But we'll find out this coming week, actually. Adams State, all year, they've been very, very fast and very aggressive, and that's what they thrive off of. They make other teams make mistakes because of their energy. We limited them to 1 goal, took them to overtime, and we had a really, really nice goal in overtime, like a side net finish. No chance the keeper could save it. And throughout the game, I wanted to give our seniors a good run. Oftentimes, we have some of our upperclassmen don't play that much. And I've seen a lot of coaches over the years for senior night, like, start off all their seniors on the field, and then a minute later all of them come off and they put their better players on. And I don't think that's fair to the guys who've been here such a long time. I really want to highlight Darren James and Charles Kiefer. They're 2 guys who have been in and out of minutes all season. They've been playing it forward, which is the most isolated role. It's always one forward versus 2 defenders. And they've been positive all year. They work to get better each week. Even the final week of the season, they were asking me what they could do to be better. And they both had a hugely positive impact in that game, and I don't think we win it without the contributions they made. Also, our captain, Brandon Lynn, had his first collegiate goal, and it was an absolute dream of a goal. He takes it off of his chest, it's bouncing, he takes it off his thighs, and from about 20 yards out, he volleys it, which means he's hitting it out of the air, which is a lot harder to do. And actually about 2 minutes later, he had the exact same setup. The ball is bouncing, he hits it again, and he pegs one of his teammates. And I asked him at halftime if it was going in. He said no doubt. So, Brandon had a great game. I'd love to send him off on a result like that and scoring, because he's somebody who puts in that work, sideline to sideline, box to box, and he doesn't always get rewarded with goals. And that was really exciting for him. That was probably the most emotional I've been coaching. All these seniors have been there longer than I have, with the exception of David Panetta, who came in my first year. And for them to stick out different coaching changes, stick out inexperienced coaches, stick out new assistants coming in, it's tough. It's easy to want to focus on the brilliant careers they're going to have and quit soccer. And the fact that they stuck with it was really inspiring. Definitely to myself, I think Coach would as well, seeing those guys show up, trying to be better, even knowing it's the last few games they have of their career. Looking forward to this weekend, we have Montana State Billings. We're really familiar with this team. We play them every season, and they're really, really good. Usually, they play in the GNAC, which is that conference in Oregon and Washington, and they have to fly out from Billings for every single trip, which is draining on them. They have a lot of international players. I think each year they get worn down. I have a good relationship with their coach, Alex Bolduc, and asked him, like, why, you guys, at the beginning of the year, I always think, oh, they're going to be in the national tournament. And then, game 8, game 9, game 10 of the season, they start losing to teams they shouldn't. And this year, they just won 3 games against Simon Fraser, who's number 9 in the country, Western Washington, who was in the national tournament last year, and Seattle Pacific, who perennially is a very, very good team. So, Billings just beat those 3 teams coming into our game, and we have a lot to think about. However, I think in getting this win on Sunday, our guys are playing with a newfound confidence, and some of those younger guys see now there's an urgency we need to play with. I don't know if it was the cold weather that spurred the guys on, or just it being senior night, or them knowing it was the final RMAC game of the year. They played with a desire to win that we didn't have all year, so I'm hoping we can continue that into this trip to Billings. Are there any questions for me? Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. Next up, cross country, Steve Johnson.
Well, tomorrow night about 5:30 or so, we're going to load up the bus. We're going to take that long drive down to Texas. We're actually going to spend the night down in Sydney, so that'll help break things up a little bit. It's about a 12-hour trip. I keep getting asked how long it is. It's about 12 hours down there. West Texas A&M is the host institution for it. They alternate with location in Denver every other year, hosting the region. So we've got about 5 years experience now hosting it. They've got a pretty good course set up right across from their basketball arena. The course itself, just like you would expect in Texas, is pretty flat. Not a whole lot exciting to it, although our women would tell you there's a few things they're afraid of. They start with the snakes, and then we go to the scorpions, and the one they're most afraid of is the spiders that they swear are this big. So, for our ladies, that should be a little bit of motivation to run fast and get out of Texas in a hurry. Just got a chance before we came in to take a look at our box assignments. They did the box draws this morning, and it looks like we're going to get to, our men are going to be stuck right smack in the middle of the field. There's 30 teams in the race. We got box number 14, so we're right in the middle. Biggest thing we have to do is be really careful not to go out too fast on it, because with the way this course runs, we already know, we've talked all year, this course basically runs as fast or faster than our track, and our track is one of the fastest surfaces made by man. So we know that this is going to be really fast, but if we go out and we're running, and we're trying to sprint to get to the front of this field of 250 runners, we're going to be in trouble because we got 6 more miles to go after we get to the front. So the biggest thing, especially with our young guys, is making sure that they understand that their place is in the middle of the field. We don't want to shrink to the back. That's easy to do when you start in the middle of a field, is to get pushed to the back because everybody's closing down around you. And then from there, we just need to treat it honestly like it's an 8K. One of the things that we do really, really well from year to year is our guys do a really good job making the adjustment and carrying over what they did at 8K to 10K. And if we can do that, and we can put 3 or 4 guys down around 32 minutes, 30 and low 33s, we should do fairly well on this course. And when I look at what happens at the region is they bring in 2 other conferences. They bring in the Heartland Conference and the Lone Star Conference to join us for the region. When I look at those conferences, honestly, our men would be toward the middle of both of those conferences, and our women would be toward the upper portion of both of those conferences. So we feel like we have a chance to be really competitive and make some jumps again over what we even did at the RMAC Championship. Looking at our women's side, our men's side, before I jump to the women, our men's side, we're hoping to be somewhere around 15 to 17th overall in the finished final ranking there. We do that, obviously that puts us right about the top half. That, I think, for our guys gives us a good boost of confidence as we go into next year, that they're making progress, making some good strides as we move forward. On the women's side, they're still talking, these ladies are still talking about wanting a top 10 finish. And the way that we finished at the RMAC, we were 25 points out of 7th place. 25 points I could find by looking at two or three runs. It's pretty easy to pick up for us, especially as we go into a bigger field. The biggest challenge that we have on the women's side is what happens with a couple of those other teams, top teams. Tarleton State, Midwestern State, West Texas A&M have all been ranked in the top 10 in the region at some point in the season. We've still got to overcome 3 teams in our own conference. And then we have Dallas Baptist out of the Heartland region, who is who's been sitting in the top 25 all year. So we know that we've got to not just replicate what we did at the RMAC. That's not good enough. We've got to actually improve on it. And so that's one of the things that we've been talking a lot about with our ladies is, what do we have to do? How do we improve that? And the first thing we have to do is we have to look at how do we move our 4, 5, 6 runners up a little bit further into the field. The other thing on the women's side that comes into play for us is that we have that outside chance of trying to get an individual into the national championship. The biggest challenge that we run into on that, quite frankly, is the fact that they changed the way the system works. So it used to be that if you were the top 3 non-qualifying teams, and you knew exactly at the region how many teams qualified out of your region into the national league. We don't know anymore. You know, if we looked at last year, we could have come into this meeting and said, okay, we have to be top. You know, we have to look at these top 5 teams and figure out who their best, figure out who's the best runners that aren't on these teams, and then try to beat them. With the change in the system, it's basically like it's a lot like the old BCS system, where it's not only who did you beat during the season, it's who did those teams beat. And you can go down second, third, fourth generations as far as you need to until you find common opponents even in that regard. And that just really throws us for a loop when we try to look at it from the outside. So what we've done is we've simply looked at the best runners in each region and said, look, these are, or each conference, and said, look, these are the best runners in each of these conferences. These are who we need to be aware of. And we need to go and try and match up with them. The top 2 individuals not on the qualifying team are guaranteed a spot, and then they will take, I believe it's 16 individuals at large from across the country. So from the 8 regions they'll take, and there's no limits anymore. So we could take 16 runners from our region that were individuals, or we could take 1. And we won't know any of that until I think it's Monday morning. So if we run really well, unfortunately things don't end in Texas. It leaves us restless and not really sure what we're doing for the next week until after they make that decision. And so it could be a restless couple of nights if we run well, but I'm up for that. So hopefully we can deal with that situation. On the women's side, like I said, we're shooting for top 10. The highest we've finished in the last couple of years in this size region is 17. And we've done that 2 years in a row. Quite honestly, we are ready to move up. We were ready last year to be in the top 15. We just need to come out. We need to put our best foot forward and have a good day. And if we can hold a couple of things together and we can run just a little bit better than we did at the region meet or at the conference meet, then we have a chance to make that top 10. Any questions? All right.
How much rest do they get when you get down there before you have to run?
Yeah, good question. The reason we're going tomorrow night is so that we can have a full day down there beforehand. So we'll make it the rest of the way. It's about 8 more hours on Thursday, and so then we'll have all of Friday there to kind of acclimate a little bit. It's supposed to be high of like 81 on Saturday, so going from what 23 yesterday, you know, hopefully that'll work well for us. Okay. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Yeah, Coach, I was down in Texas this last weekend in the Alps. So hopefully that helps you guys out. And next up, volleyball, Jenni Bolduc.
Yes, we dropped 2 matches to 2 really good opponents this weekend. We hung pretty good with Metro our first set. I think we're still taking teams by surprise in the first set. We're like, oh, we gotta actually take this team seriously now. So a couple of kids that I was talking about, Anna Bright, I know I talk about her a lot, but she is turning into a legitimate middle. I watched film today, we had to watch from the sideline, we had some camera problems, but I was glad that we did, because she crushed the slide at about 8 feet off the net. She's hitting from top of the net, almost straight down. And she's learning how to hit in front now, which is good for us, because she really struggled at the another kid, and I think she ended up hitting like 380 and then 450 on Friday and Saturday night, which is great for us. We just need some other weapons, because teams can figure out, hey, like this is who their go-to is, we shut her down. We don't have a lot to balance that out, and we got to work on that offensively. Defensively, Hannah Stevenson stepped in as our other middle. We got an injury with our freshman middle that was playing middle the last, 3 or 4 weeks. She's been great. She came to me earlier this season and kind of felt like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, plugging me here, you put me here, you put me here. I just feel like I'm just kind of a filler for you. Like, yeah, but you're 6'2", and you touch 9'9", and like we're trying to figure out where we can use you the best. And she's been great jumping in there, playing middle. She's really long and high, she blocks. Sometimes she's a little too high, she got tooled. Her hand was about, 3 feet over the net, and hit her hand and put up the bleachers. So if you're in that section, you probably got a little bit of that. But she's been great, she's working hard. Emma Boki is a little freshman PS. She came and played back row for Emma Youth and just played great, crushed some great defense. Darla Dracon came in and served for Anna Bright and played really, really great defense. It's nice to see some of our bench players come in and make an impact this weekend. I'm sure we'll see a little bit more of that this weekend as well. I think the biggest thing for us right now is there's been this really cool cultural shift in our program. We were on the bench the other night between sets, and Anna Wright, who is doing a great job, like statistically, no one can argue that she's doing great, and she's yelling at our libero because our libero's not yelling at her to close the block. She's like, you will hold me accountable, you will get on me if I'm not doing this, like I want to hear about it. And they're just, the maturity that's happened between the beginning of the season and now is just really tremendous, and they are on each other in practice and holding each other accountable at a really high level that I wasn't seeing at the beginning for sure. We have some physicality mismatches. You can see when we play teams like Metro and UCCS that we're going to address a little bit in the spring, and I told them this last week, hey, get ready. You know, this spring is not going to be an easy spring. You're going to work hard. You're going to go through a 20-hour cycle in the spring, which they didn't do last year because of the coaching team. You're going to lift and condition for 6 hours a week. You're going to get more physical. So be prepared for that. You think that you're going to your off season and you get to like take a break now. That's not what spring's going to look like for you. And so I think that next year, between that spring season and our recruits coming in, I think physically will be on a much more equal standing ground than we've seen. We do play Shad on Friday night. I think that we match up pretty well with Shad. They run a lot of different stuff, but like our defense is really strong right now, and it's much better than last time we faced them. We won 4 last time, so I think there's a really good shot of us getting them in our home court. And then, yeah, Regis is tough. Regis is really, really physical. We took them pretty close our first set against them last time, but I really believe we can compete physically in the net to make sure that we're really just put on our block. That yeah, it'll be a really good matchup. And then obviously it's our senior night, so Michaela Reese, Emily Newton, the last time they'll compete on our floor. And I think the same thing that Coach Conniff is talking about, like, it took a lot. Like, they've been through 3 coaches, and Michaela Reese wasn't even here last season. She came back just to have this, so I'm really impressed with them and their willingness to stick it out and like see the season through and work hard through the final match. Any questions?
Again, everybody, we got volleyball Friday night and Saturday night, so please come out to their matches. Next up, football. Head coach, Zach Tinker.
Past Saturday out at Fort Lewis, really competitive RMAC football game, which they usually are. When we play, it seems like every time we've lined up this year, we've found ourselves in a pretty good fight. It was again on Saturday. Kind of stumbled out of the gate a little bit, turned the ball over on our first possession. And then later in the first quarter, that led to a score for them. And then by the end of the first quarter, we really did kind of get the game under control. We were doing some good things offensively, defensively, and in the kicking game. We had a huge kick return by Brandon Reed, which really sparked us and got us back in the game. And then right after that, we got the first defensive score of the season, a safety by Michael Retland, which made it 16-14. And then we capitalized on it. So we're up 9 there about midway through the second quarter, and thought we had done a good job of kind of getting the game back in hand because we didn't start it that fast. And then we just had a bad set of plays. We missed a good third down conversion. We had the ball back. We had a good punt, kind of buried it down there, but we couldn't keep them buried down there. And they had one drive all day, and it was there at the end of the first half. And it really did kind of get them sparked up a little bit. It turned into a big play that got out. That tightened up the game. And then once we got to halftime, I thought we were in a pretty good spot. We were going to get the ball back to start the second half, and we made a mistake on special teams and allowed them to get an onside kick, a surprise onside kick. It was a huge momentum play, and we didn't recover from that for about 9 minutes of the third quarter. We were in a funk there, and they took all the momentum of the football game, took the lead, and then it was just kind of back and forth until the thing ended, and they were one play better than us in the end, and were able to pull out the victory. Good effort by our players, without a doubt. We didn't execute that great. You know, when you look at offensively, I just don't think we're as sharp as we need to be in order to win these games. Specifically, we turn the ball over right now, and when you turn it over, you lose. We've had the games we've been at home, we seem to take care of the ball. I think it's always sunny and 70 at Dunham Field, so we feel really good at Dunham. Nothing's ever the issue. And we play great, we own the ball. We've been on the road, we just haven't done a very good job of that. So we need to do that offensively in order to win games. And then defensively, we've been really sharp, and we just had a few plays that are getting away from us. And unfortunately, the plays that are getting away from us are really big hitters. As opposed to 10 to 12 to 15-yard plays, they're these big explosive plays. And we're really sharp, and then the big one gets away from us. If we can limit a little bit the big plays, because we're playing overall a good, consistent brand of defense for the most part as we're attacking these RMAC opponents. Disappointing loss for our team. I think our players expected to win, just like we have the last couple of weeks, and it took us a little bit to get over that one. We did have a good spirited practice this morning, just so you know. It was about 16 and dark at Dunham Field at 6 a.m. this morning, so I lied to the guys a little bit. It wasn't the warmest day, but by the time we get to Saturday afternoon, we'll be ready to go. But we did have good spirited practice today, and we think we're moderately healthy going into this coming week. Our players in the game on offense, Dorian Kohler had a really nice game again. Dorian ran the ball. This is one of the better run defenses we saw. We actually ran the ball with good efficiency on Saturday. Dorian had a nice game out of the backfield catching the ball. Our special teams player of the week was Wyatt Housa, who's a senior. Wyatt kind of plays on all the special teams units and has really embraced that role this season. Our defensive player of the week, our dog of the week, was Andrew Karatapian, number 58. He's a defensive end. He's just a junior. Has come in as a transfer and had an immediate impact. He's really one of the really impactful players on the defensive line that we've had, and he had a nice day. So, and then our tenacious player of the week, the guy who represented our word of the week, was J.J. Banks, our Coast Guard, number 99. I think when you watch 99 play, he's usually the smallest defensive lineman out there in terms of size and stature, but he plays with great aggression and intensity. And then our overall pickaxe player of the game was Michael Redmond, who again had the safety, which was the first time we took the scoreboard on defense this year, which was exciting. This week, I just got reminded by the guy from the Mesa radio station that Colorado Mesa has scored over 70 points in their last 2 games, which I thought was a jerk move on his part. Like, I didn't even hear that. I do. They are just an explosive and talented offense. The most exciting offense you'll see it down the field other than the high-octane offense. I mean, it's just, they do some really good things. They're outstanding at quarterback, great at running back, and the receiver play is fantastic. They just create those explosive plays we're talking about. They don't possess the ball for very long. They just create a lot of explosive plays. Defensively, they probably have the best defensive player in the league, a kid named Blake Nelson, who's a really strong player. And they've done a good job defensively this year. They've created a lot of negative plays, but we've also seen that they've had a hard time defending some of the things in the pass game, and so we need to do a good job in the pass game and handle that. You know, this is the #1 team in the league right now. They look like they're on their way to the playoffs as long as they take care of business these last 2 weeks. And we played them in a really competitive game at their place last year. We had them on the ropes in the 4th quarter. We weren't able to finish that game. But I think we got a lot of confidence from playing that game, and so we're excited to see them again. It's back at home. We've been really quite a bit better at home than we have been on the road. So we can't wait to see you all on Saturday and help bring in the juice necessary for us to have a big night. Any questions on where we're at or where we're going in terms of the game against Fort Lewis, or as we go into this Mesa game and recognize our 17 seniors? We do have 17 seniors playing their final home game at Dunham Field. 2 of them are players that we hope to have back next year via medical redshirt. So that would be Isaiah Manley and Kevin Thompson, who are both playing as seniors, but will apply for medical redshirt status, and we're hopeful that they will get those. So they will get 2 senior days hopefully during their career. And then the other 15, a couple of them also injured. You know, Michael Harden's career is over, but he's still been with the program, and we'll lose 11 total seniors on the defensive side of the ball. So excited to see those guys get their final moment at Dunham Field, because they've certainly earned it, and excited to see what those guys do. That will be a brief ceremony before the game. You'll get to see some really special guys, including our 2 defensive captains, Blake Stone and E.J. DeVoe, who've had really great careers here. How does their quarterback drive their offense at Colorado Mesa? Quickly. He's a true dual threat player. We played against him a season ago, so he was the backup a season ago. and their incumbent quarterback was sort of off and on injured. And this young man was the one we were really scared about. You know, he was just a talented kid. And we ended up playing against him a lot last season. I thought we did a good job against him and kind of kept him under wraps a little bit. Now he's more comfortable with what they're doing. And what he does is they create some broken plays. And when they're broken plays, you know, the worst thing you can do is cover all their receivers because he might start running. All right, and he's dangerous. So that's what he does. It's a high tempo. So when you'll see what they'll do is, if they have a good play, they'll be right back up on the ball. I think their running back's a great player, number 44, David Tan, but it's a high tempo offense, and he's got good weaponry, and it's hard to kind of, even when you feel like you got him in the phone booth, he sort of slides out the side of it, and you still got to handle him. So it's just a challenge to get him onto the ground. But a season ago when we played him, we were able to hit him a little bit when he was in the pocket. We'll need to do that Saturday to kind of take some of the energy out of them.
They're a high scoring team. What score would you like to see? 72 to 75?
Yeah. No, if we can win it 4-3, I'll take it. You know what I mean? It could be a little bit like that World Series game, though, a little bit, where we're back and forth, you know. And it's kind of right now. The league has been pretty good defensively this year. They're one of the few really explosive offenses we've seen where you're just going, okay, there's a lot of things you got to deal with. We need to turn them over a couple times because they have shown that they'll put the ball on the ground, and we need to take advantage of it when we do. This past week, we had 2 fumbles, and we couldn't recover either one of them. The other team fumbled twice, and we recovered either one. Either one of those plays could change the outcome of the game. So, you know, we need to create some of those negative plays from them and kind of get them out of rhythm. And then the other thing is try to make it so they have to go 75 yards on a drive. Not let those explosive, make them go 7, 8, 9 plays, because that'll put some pressure on it and kind of make them execute 7 or 8, 9 times in a row. So that's kind of the key to the whole thing in terms of sort of slowing that rhythm down. And the other thing, you know, and you see this from time to time, you know, we have to get off to a little bit faster start. They have some obscene, I don't have the numbers because I looked at them and I started feeling sick to my stomach because I stopped looking at them, but their first quarter scoring versus their opponents this season is an astronomical figure. They just started really fast. I mean, they were ahead 63-0 at halftime last week. So it's one of those things where we got to just kind of stay through the first quarter with them, and then start to make it just make a little bit tighter of a game, a little bit shorter of a game, and see if we can't take some of the steam out of it that way. Got anything else?
Questions for Coach? Now's your chance.
Bring your juice on Saturday. Okay? Should be a good one. Rock on.
Right on. Thank you, Coach. Coach, thank you very much again. This Saturday is going to be great weather, so come on out to football, see Military Appreciation Day and Senior Day. Come out to volleyball that night, same thing, senior night that night. We could really use your support this weekend with the Hardrock Club. A couple of people I want to thank. I always mention them, but they probably don't give enough credit at all of these functions. Sandy, please wave for us. Sandy Carlson. Brad Bloom, if you've waved everybody here. Ken Wood, wave. I really appreciate all you guys and all the effort that you guys put into things. It makes this a good deal for everybody. Again, thank you to Bufalo Wild Wings. Thank you to Matt Bennett, the owner, for allowing us to come here and being such a good corporate sponsor with us. Thank you to all of you for your support of the Hardrockers. We really appreciate it. You guys know we're starting to move into winter time, toward the end of the year, so be thinking about your year-end gifts, because every dollar that you give to us tangibly helps our kids out. Certainly with scholarships and also with our operational funds also. So your support goes a long way for this athletic department in this school. So thank you very much for that. Next week we will be back on campus in Hall of Fame at noon on Tuesday, November 7th. And we will be having rancheros. So we look forward to seeing you then. Again, thanks very much.